Hi, welcome to the Cable Show here in Boston. I'm Mike Roebuck, Senior Editor with CED Magazine. Joining me today is Comcast George Salinger. George, we just wanted to get an update from you about where CCAP is, as far as the trials, the specifications, some of the things that you've been working on this year, and maybe where you think it's headed for the rest of the year.
Sure. So as we've been talking about, we're conducting a trial. We're about in the middle point of the trial. The trial is being conducted in the Northeast, as we've said. And it's been very successful. We've learned a lot of things from it, and we continue to learn. We've also conducted an RFP, and we're starting the process of selecting equipment, which we hope we will start deploying towards the end of the year, in a small scale, and then much larger scale starting next year.
Well, and really that's the schedule that you've been saying for probably over a year now, and you've pretty much kept to that, so that means it's a well-organized effort, it sounds like.
All this depends upon the development of the equipment, of course. We don't develop the equipment, but it seems like the development of equipment is progressing quickly.
Well, actually, that leads me into what we've been seeing and hearing here at the Cable Show. As far as the CCAP equipment goes, it just, I know everybody's not showing everything they have, but it does seem like there's been some big strides since Expo. There are a few things that you can look at and you can talk about. Are you pleased with the vendor side development?
Extremely. We're extremely pleased. Literally every vendor is working on it. Some of them are showing it here, either openly or in private sessions. But every vendor is working on it, and we're very, very pleased with the progress that has been made. The boxes are astonishing, really. So we're very pleased.
The evolution of DOCSIS, and I know that you had a session on that, and I know that the vendors got together and wrote a paper on that, but can you just describe to us what that is and why the need came about, where you're headed, I guess, with this evolution?
Sure. DOCSIS has served us very, very well, and it looks like it will help us a lot moving forward. And the questions that we're all asking each other, and we have been for a couple of years now since we started deploying DOCSIS 3.0, is can it be more efficient? Can it be more efficient, especially in the use of spectrum? Are there things that we can do to simplify it as we deploy it in larger quantities, for very high speeds and in smaller service groups? And these dynamics are changing, and are there things that we can do to improve DOCSIS so that it can continue helping us moving forward, which we think it can. And so we have been working on what can be done to improve it. And we seem to be getting to a consensus. I think what you've seen in the panel is that all of the vendors, both the statements from each one of the vendors individually, and even the collective paper that ARRIS, Cisco, Intel, and Motor wrote, we're all arriving to the same conclusions. And so now it's a matter of deciding how to execute.
Well, and like previous DOCSIS, it has to work with all the other versions of DOCSIS.
Right.
And so now it would seem like the next step is building this consensus among the cable operators and then taking it at some point to cable labs, right?
Exactly. And one of the key issues is what backward compatibility and forward compatibility should we have? As we are all concluding that we could develop a new PHY, then should it be compatible with existing equipment, or how would it be compatible with existing equipment, and how would existing equipment operate in these new channels moving forward? So that's actually one key item of deciding how to move forward. We don't want to increase the complexity. We don't want to have complete backward and forward compatibility, which would increase the complexity and the cost enormously. We want to make it simple, and so that's one of the most critical items to decide in the next few months. And
I was just going to ask you about a time frame, but overall, when do you kind of see some of this? It's driven by bandwidth consumption, right? When do you see this really being necessary or starting to take off as far as deployment?
Yeah, I think it would be optimal to have it in a few years, not too long into the future, not too delayed into the future. So if we can have it in a few years, it would be very, very helpful.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up here from Boston. I want to thank George for joining us, and that's it. Thank you. Thanks, George.
Thanks.